Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Good morning, Byron.
Good morning.
What's happening?
Nothing much, man. Happy to be here.
Good. Happy to have you here. Good morning, Jermaine.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
I watched Trevor Noah's stand up.
Oh yeah, Trevor.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
It was
pretty
good.
good though. He's funny.
Yeah, he was good at all the things you do. The consistency. You might do a joke, and then you revisit the joke, and people go like, "Oh, that line from the joke." So it was good. Kind of, man. This is I don't know if say this weather is depressing because
It
it's
is,
spring, but God,
It is.
all this rain and the humidity. Yesterday, man, it was like it got up to 80 and it was humid.
And then it dropped.
Yeah, it felt like a summer day, man. It was like, but that when it came through, so I guess it depends on where you were, as it always is, when you're looking at and the people over there. Once again, on the Norfolk side on 60th Street got hit again.
Yeah, but
So-
when are they ever going to address this situation, man?
Well, it's just it's nothing really you can really do. It's just a whole lot of rain, in one area at one time. It overwhelms the sewer system. They're trying not to open up the sewer because when they open up the sewer, you dump all this untreated water into the lake. So there's that balance. But like it is with any storm, you have some pockets where there's heavier rain, no rain, but
So the question,
I was in the store though when that tornado warning, did it come on your phone?
man, it came across.
It was like you could hear the whole store.
yeah,
Like everybody's phone was going off.
yeah, and that was kind of scary, man, because I was actually watching it on TV as it was unfolding, and they was showing how the sky turned like grayish green and
Yeah.
all type.
Man,
it was
looked-
crazy,
it was
man.
dark.
Yeah, and then that cloud that was hanging low, that people thought there was a funnel cloud. I was looking for rotation because if it had rotation, I was running.
Well, part of some safety we have in the urban area is that it's not like a wide open space where it can
Right.
really gather
Right.
energy.
Right,
We have had parts of the city in the past hit with a tornado,
right.
but that's over by Christ the King.
Yep, that's on 60s. Yeah. I mean, now that was really underwater last night. It was terrible over there. Like it was
Wow.
up to the roof of cars.
Okay. Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, it was bad, man.
All right. All right. There was something else I was going to do before I got into our topic and our question today. Yeah, I was going to get to that, but is there
Okay.
something else that I needed to address? Let's see. Should have wrote it down. Let's see. I got that.
So no
Yeah.
cleanup on aisle 9.
No
3?
cleanup on what would be today. I'll
4. Okay, no cleanup.
let's see.
Sweep around your own front door.
No, I think that's it. Let me do this. And we always have these conversations around how we came up yesterday. This generation is just worse than we ever was. I mean, that whole piece. I got it. Part of just getting old is that you long for the good old days, and upon further review, we realized that the good old days weren't as good as we pine for today, and they weren't as bad
Right.
as we make it. They just were. But this happened Saturday, and Ron and I have gone to a National Action Network convention. It just coincides around our anniversary time. So when we were in New York one year, we were staying at the Hilton Midtown, and he has the convention at the Sheraton Midtown, which is really, really right across the street. And so we had a chance to go. I think the year we went, Eric Holder there, he spoke, and some other folks. So just to set it up, right now, Nan had in different folks on the Democratic side who were looking at possible runs for president in 2028. And this came up in the plenary session. And I just I thought it caught my attention. Again, I was listening to some folks yesterday who were talking about this issue. So, can we do it? See what it looks like.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Does Al Sharpton speak for the people or does he speak for the Democratic Party? This clip will tell you everything you need to know. Check it out.
Tell us your name and briefly what's on your mind.
Let me hold it. Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday, you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, not. Who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody get my man a tissue. He need a tissue.
What if you could claim a stake on what?
All right. So that happened. I think that happened Saturday. I know it's been on X. They've been replaying the tape in terms of what he did. So there's a couple of things there that really caught my attention. One is that he was able to show that a lot of the movement is pretty much controlled and run by older people. The fact that there wasn't, I think Reverend Sharpton gets up and says that he has a whole thing just for young people. And what he was talking about was obviously those people between 18 and 35, voting age, and why weren't they part of the conversation? I think a lot of our long-lasting organizations, that might be an issue in terms of they tend to skew a little bit older in terms of people who participate. I think the other piece of it, though, and this is what really raised concerns for me, well, I'm concerned that we don't have a good representation of young folks in some of these organizations. I'm concerned about that. And as a matter of fact, I am a member of the NAACP. I know last year at the Freedom Fund dinner, one of the mandates that came out of the national organization was that local organizations were supposed to have a more concerted effort to build up their young adults, their youth. Right. So, I mean, there's an acknowledgement that maybe young folks are not as involved as people think they should be, or as they think they should be. But the other thing that really concerned me was that basically, because one, there is not going to be a reparation check by the midterms. There's not going to be a reparation check by the 2028 election. Okay. So, is it legitimate to say that no check, no vote? In other words, what they mean by that is if we don't get the reparation check, then we or they won't show up to vote. Should we be concerned about that? What does that mean? And then, because it's Wednesday and Jermaine is in the studio, conspiracy with a K popped up in my mind, wondering, is this guy a plant? Now, I guess he has a legitimate Melrose Radio. I guess it's out there that's legit. But I saw this We really saw it during the 2026 election. I think we saw it after that in 2022, 2024. But during 2026, there was a guy that would call, and he ended up getting the nickname Uh-oh, right? And he would always call in supportive of Trump, da-da-da-da-da, we're on the plantation, the whole thing. So that's my question. Is there something more sinister going on than people going out? There have been people who've been working on the reparation issue for years, for decades, right? But to be able to come in and say, oh, if we don't get reparations, then we're not going to vote. It made me think about, and I don't know when, and I guess I'll look it up. When J. Cole had said that he had not voted, and I know DJ and I was concerned about that. But it's not surprising that people, certainly between the ages of 18 and 35, probably have the lowest voter participation rate of any group in the country. There's a lot of things that factor in. The fact that in 1972, when 18-year-olds got the right to vote, a lot of that was, or all of it's political. It was political because of what was going on in Vietnam. And people said, well, you know what? If you go and fight a war, you should be able to, at 18, you should be able to vote at 18. Okay. And even one of the other byproducts of that came out, but that didn't last long. If you're able to fight a war at 18, you should be able to drink at 18. Well, we had to get rid of 18-year-olds legally drinking just because of all the problems that presented. And look, I'm part of that group that was 18-year-olds who were allowed to vote, to drink. But even though they did that, and I'll pull up what amendment that is, excuse me, to the Constitution, you still have the lowest voter participation rate, people between 18 and 25. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Okay. Keith, what were you doing at 18?
I was a freshman in college.
Let me restate that. You think you was politically astute at 18?
Oh, I was politically aware. I was just not politically involved. I majored in political science. So, yeah, I mean, I was politically aware. I had a certain level of consciousness, but it was a young lady. I was having a conversation with, it would have been my sophomore year in college. And we're having this conversation, and I'm going on, man. I'm doing a real good job of saying what's wrong with America. And then she asked me, was I registered to vote? And I said, no. She said, well, we can't have this conversation. So as soon as I got back to Milwaukee, I went right over to Atkinson Library and I registered to vote. I think the first election I voted in would have been 1980.
And who was the president at that time that you voted for?
Jimmy Carter against Ronald Reagan.
Me too. Okay, so we're about the same. Okay. Now, so we're going to put you, I'm assuming you're kind of like me when you say I'm a little bit more conscious aware, correct? Can I put you in that category?
Oh, I'm not kind of aware. I'm very aware.
Okay. Now, when we think about some of our peers that were around us, well, you might be different because you were in college. I wasn't in college at that time. Or, yeah, I think I was, but I wasn't really going to school because I was out. I had got kind of what I want to call bit by the streets for a little bit. So I was kind of a little wild at that time. So, but do you think at that time, most of our peers were really involved in politics and ready to go out and change the world?
I think yes, but I think that the part of that where, I don't know if this is correct, the disconnect was that didn't necessarily see that in terms of participating in the electoral process. You know, it was just more, there was organizing going on, but it wasn't necessarily organizing to vote. It was around issues, I think, certainly going into the 80s, the anti-apartheid movement was big, and there were a lot of students who were involved with that. I think that people who might have had political ambitions then saw the importance of voting. But the vast majority of people were partying, doing whatever they're going to do at that age, right?
And that's why I'm saying that, because you being on a college campus probably made that difference. Me being on the opposite side, I can tell you right now, Keith, most of them dudes and most of those young ladies weren't thinking about that. Not at all. It wasn't even on the register. And so when I'm watching this clip of this young man that you put out there, I don't really think he realizes the damage that could cause, because they do have to get more involved. We have to know when to move out the way to let them, but if they're not involved and we're not training them, how are they going to know? And so they do have to get more politically astute and politically involved, but we have to teach them. But at the same time, we have to know how to move out the way then and let them start taking over. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't know what they're taking over, but yeah, let me, because one of the things that we did was, boy, and I guess I had this experience for both Caitlin and Frankie. I was with them the first time they voted, right? We have pictures. No, Rhonda was with Caitlin. I was with Frankie when he voted, right? For the first time, registered to vote at Midtown. He voted in that election. Caitlin, he's 20.
Okay.
So that was a couple of years ago. Caitlin, I have a picture of her the first time she voted. And so, for us, we're saying, you need to vote. But a lot of people are not necessarily getting that. I think the other thing is, and this is where there seems to be some tension for me. As we get older, maybe because, and I put in quotations, we're more realistic. When people come in with these, oh, we need to do this, and you going like, okay, well, we tried to do it, and I don't know if that's a good thing. It's Wednesday. I can let me give the analogy of David and Saul. Saul had the benefit or the detriment of having past experiences. This is how we wage, or this is how we engage with our enemy. David didn't have any of that. David was young. So David didn't have where, this was a failure to him. It was just opportunity. So I think there's a balance between the wisdom that people get from their experiences, but then there's also value in the enthusiasm, right, that people might have when they're younger. And I guess that's the piece that, because Saul was paralyzed by fear, David was liberated because David felt like, I ain't got nothing to lose, right? I mean, that is that's youth, right? Youth has the sense of you being invincible, right? As we get older, we understand mortality a little bit better, right?
And that's the reason why they want to draft and put young people in there too, because they're easily manipulated into thinking like
exactly.
Where we're going to think twice about it. But I would probably say, because of their family structure and probably in the neighborhood that you're probably in, you probably have more people that are involved in politics and that probably go out and vote, right? I could tell you over in my neighborhood, and I'm not saying all, because I know some people know who I am and are probably listening. I'm not saying all, but I could tell you, keep over here, my radius over here, a lot of people could give a damn about voting. They don't see their parents doing it, so they ain't involved in it. Because I could tell you on days when I was walking down the street to what's the place on 24th? Excuse me, Creep, right down here on 24th in Burleigh. What's Moody?
COA?
Yeah. I can tell you, Keith, before I started doing the mail-in voting, when COVID hit, when I was going down there, you guys going to vote today? You guys, come on, y'all going to vote today? No, they weren't thinking about it, Keith. And when I would go in there, and I could tell you, anywhere from 18 on up to 30. I'm talking about their parents too, Keith, just sitting on the porch. So I'm talking to all of them.
See, but I can tell you why, George, because I've heard people say that, especially when it comes down to voting for the presidents, that it don't matter who win it don't matter if you vote for them, because if they win the popular vote, it don't matter because it comes down to the electors. So your vote really don't matter, and this is what people are saying. People
But I'm
are
gonna push
saying,
back on that right out
well,
too, because I voted everything. It
listen,
ain't just for the presidency. It
I-
was for the aldermen. It was for all that. Right out. They didn't care.
I know, but people look at the president,
Yeah,
you know,
usually
time to
have-
win his vote, you know,
you usually have
as
a
the
bigger
huge,
turnout.
yeah,
Even younger folks.
And I can tell you right now, I've been over here. Me and Brendan probably been over here 30, 40 years. So I've seen these cats come up as babies, still living in their mama's houses right now today. A lot of them, right?
Well, what?
Asking me for money and stuff. And I was joking with one of my boys the other day, and I said, "You sure I'm your daddy?" Because I said, "You like Jamaican, because man, one thing about you and your brother, y'all gonna work." And he said, "Because we saw you and Mama doing that."
But I think
Some of these cats, I'll be coming out the house going to work. George, man, you got 50 cents and stuff, because they weren't being taught that.
But I'm saying, but it's also, you and I have more stake in the game than they do.
Yeah.
You know, we're property owners. You know, that was something when I was in my 20s. I wasn't a property owner. You know, that's a consideration.
So I'm gonna push back on that too, because some of these people I'm talking about, Keith, their parents was property owners.
Their parents were, but they're not. And what I'm saying is, because I'm concerned about what the property tax rate is going to be, because it has an impact on my bottom line. So when I'm looking at voting, you know, I'm saying for more personal, for a lot of people, they don't feel like they have any stake in the system. So then why should I then participate when, you know, it doesn't seem like it's moving the needle?
But it does affect them, and that's what they don't understand. It does affect them. So I'm sitting around waiting for my check every month. Now that somebody else is in office, now that check is getting pulled, right? Or if I want that check, I got to go out here and work a minimum of hours. But now there's no jobs around here. If I want a job, and I can tell you this from experience from some young people I know, I got to go all the way out to Sheboygan, those places way out there. So I don't got a car, and the bus transportation system ain't going out there. How am I get a job? So it does affect them. So I guess I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna hang up because I know I'm taking up a lot of time. How do we change that mindset? Because you always say, Keith, and it's true, voting has consequences. So how do we get that mind frame to change? And I'm gonna hang up and listen. Thanks, brother.
Well, I mean, you know, just to chime in, I hate to say it, but in some households, it's passed down through the generational line. You know, like George said, I don't see Mama and Daddy doing it, so why should I do it? And then those people have kids and pass it down to their kids, because their kids is looking at them, and they don't see Mom and Daddy doing it, so they're not gonna do it.
What about the older folks though, who might have seen or lived during the civil rights movement, saw different movements in this country? A lot of these, certainly, I don't know if that's Generation XZ, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, people, and most people don't necessarily make the connection between voting and ultimately what's going to happen in terms of things that impact you. Here's an example. Tommy Thompson ran against Tony Earl. Tommy Thompson said, as he was running, that he's going to cut. I think Tony Earl had increased the amount of public assistance by 5%, and then it ended up being 6%. Tommy Thompson said he was running, he was going to get rid of it. And so he won. And people down protesting. I'm going, it's too late, because he got in. You know, Michelle was talking about what was going on in, I think that's Roseland, Louisiana. Elections have consequences. Quiet as this kept, nobody was paying attention. And this is why I said, don't get into the antics of this dude, get into what this dude is doing, right? They've gutted EPA. They rolled back regulations. Normally in a situation like they're dealing with down there in terms of the contaminated ground and air, EPA would be involved. Under the Trump administration, EPA is not. As a matter of fact, EPA is in the pocket of the polluting corporations because elections have consequences. Now, it's easy, and that, you know, for a whole lot of folks, see, Obama can't be on the ballot every time you go and vote. And so there are a lot of people who, there was no question when they had the chance to vote for the first black president that they're going to show up to vote for that. Who wants to be on the wrong side of history? There were probably some black conservatives who voted for Obama the first time. Second time, and I know some prominent folks, once he came out in support of same-sex marriage, that was the excuse that some black conservatives needed to not vote for Barack Obama. But how could you in 2008 say I didn't vote for Barack Obama? Nobody even, you ain't even, when you drunk, you ain't even gonna say that, right? Not in front of a group of people, because it was that moment in history. But where the real work is done is school board elections, judicial elections, school board elections. Why school board elections? Because if I live in Milwaukee and I'm in certain neighborhoods and in certain income level, my kids have to go to public school. So then it matters what that school system is doing in terms of educating our kids. Let's talk about the judiciary. Two of them gonna go before a judge, right? Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, so these things, we don't think that it matters, but it really does matter. And I don't know, George, I don't know, y'all, the phone line's open. Y'all help me. How do you change the messaging? My mother used to say this, you know, that this is why WNOV was so important. This was why WMCS was important, because it did Black Talk Radio, okay? But if people are listening to other stations, people don't want to hear that political stuff. They want to hear the music. You know, I mean, I was rare at, you know, in that age, in that demographic, because politics, I love politics and studying politics and thinking about politics. I didn't have a problem. But there are other people during the day, they don't want to hear me talking. They don't even want to hear people in their peer group talking about this, unless, I don't want to use the word nonsense, but unless they're talking about something that's cultural, they don't want to deal with anything that's political, right? And so these other stations are playing music. Okay. And then even the music that you're listening to and the people, and, you know, these folks are influencers. So it really does matter what such and such said. It mattered that J. Cole said he didn't go vote. J. Cole has a lot of people that follow him, right? And so in some of those folks, they go, well, if J. Cole didn't go vote, I'm not going to go vote. Now, I want to believe, and I hate to use this kind of terminology, you got his mind right, because I did see him at the 20th reunion, 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. He was there in D.C., and so he's becoming more politically aware. And here's the other thing. Just because you vote, the person you vote for might not win. But that doesn't mean that you don't participate, because you might have took an L on this one.
See, but I've heard people say, hey, well, every time I vote, and the person I vote for never wins. And then you hear on TV, you hear them say, well, yeah, such and such won the popular vote, which is the people's vote. But because they lost the electors, they lost the election. So people are saying, well, why do I stand in line and vote if my vote really don't count?
But it does.
I mean, I hear you, and I'm with you, but I'm just saying that what they say, because again, if our vote fall under the popular vote and this person got 9 million popular votes and this other person got 2 million popular votes, don't that mean that person won?
Yeah, but it didn't mean my vote didn't count. It's just that the other people had more votes. It's that simple.
No, I get it. But say, for instance, the person that had the 9 million popular votes loses the race to the person that got 2 million popular votes because of the electors.
But that's the system.
I get it, but people don't understand the system.
Or they don't want to accept that that's the system. But
I mean, that could be both.
At this point, is just the system, because look, at the same time, and I think, didn't Hillary Clinton win the popular vote?
Won the
but she lost the
But she lost the electorate.
But why did she lose the electoral vote? Because in certain states, Wisconsin and Michigan, states that she should have won, people decided not to show up and vote. That's a vote for the other team.
I get it, but why?
They could have all kind of reasons. I was getting my hair did. They could have all kind of reasons for not showing up. If it's that important to you, though.
No, but why is it a vote for the other team? It should be 0.
Well, I'm going to say this. Chances are, if you're, and it's anecdotal, if you're black and urban, chances are, not for everybody, but for the most part, you're going to vote Democratic.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Why is that? Because I remember somebody was saying, what did Obama do? What did Obama ever do for black people? And my response was, well, what is Donald Trump doing to black people? Okay, so you could say what Obama didn't do, but Obama didn't do what Trump is doing to black folks. There's an example, because elections have consequences, right?
Yeah.
So let me do this, man. I'm going to take the break. I see the callers. I'll get them. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Yeah, we got a chance to hear the album cut. Those of you on terrestrial radio, those of you on YouTube and Facebook, you got silence.
Hey,
But yeah,
key change was dope.
yeah. So anyway, caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
One of the things that you guys talked about when I turned 18 in 1970, and the reason I went to vote, it was anger because my cousin, of course, had been blown up 6 years earlier in 1963, and I never got to know, and I knew about what was going on in Birmingham. It was about the vote. That bomb in 16th Street Baptist Church was about trying to scare people to say, we don't want to continue these demonstrations for the right to vote. And so I wanted to vote. So I went and voted then. My first election, I think was like you said, Carter. And then I got with college, we started getting into issues with the Vietnam War, apartheid, and other things that came about. And I was with a pretty militant young group of brothers we called ourselves the Brotherhood. And so we were always so enlightened about things that we talked about it amongst ourselves, the brotherhood and sisterhood. So we were active, and even when we protested about, I think that was in the 80s when I was at UWM, when we protested about what happened to Richard Pryor's show when they started preempting it, about 5 of us went out and demonstrated in front of TMJ4, and they cut a deal with them to show it to the community. And so I believe that activism, but I learned most of it from my mother, who was invited to the Johnson administration inauguration, who was involved in the NAACP and all those. So I learned it, but I just always say it's up to you to decide what you want. You don't want to do that, that's fine, but don't come. Guess what? I'm on your non-talking list when you got complaints, because I don't want to hear.
Well, the 26th Amendment to the Constitution was proposed in Congress on March 23rd, 1971. 3/4 of the states ratified it by July 1st, 1971. So 72 was the first national election that 18-year-olds could vote in. I know that's true because I was at Dominican, and Orville Pitts, who were Democrats for Nixon, came out to campaign for the 18-year-olds. And that was the thing, because with a lot of Catholic schools, they didn't have kindergarten. So a lot of the kids who would graduate would be 18, right? Where I think I was 17 when I graduated, but most would be 18. And so they were eligible. This is the first group eligible to vote. And so there was this push out there to do it. And the rationale behind it was that if 18-year-olds could go and fight in the war, particularly the Vietnam War, then 18-year-olds should be able to vote. Now, after more than 50 years, we kind of understand that it's there. But again, 18 to 30-year-olds are probably the lowest voting participation group in American politics. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Where your mind is certainly between 18 and 25. Unless, now look, there are people like you who are very conscious, people like me who were aware. Yeah, but we were more the exception to the rule. Like if you looked on campuses, I know UWM probably had it. I know the Mount had it, where we had young Republicans, young Democrats, and the people who tended to join those groups were people who were politically ambitious. They went on for political careers, but everybody else was just partying. That was, or you were just in your thing, or you were in the books. So, it's always been a very difficult group. That's the question that political parties have, is how much resources, is that right? I think that you would put in trying to get that group out to vote, or do you look at people who are more likely to vote and try to move them to vote? Now, in Hungary, this is incredible. 78% of eligible voters showed up for that election. Say that again. 78% of eligible voters showed up to vote in Hungary. Where in America, if we get to 60%, that's considered high. We're talking about eligible voters. We're talking about people who could go vote. 40% of most Americans who are eligible to vote choose not to vote. So,
Yeah, period. Yes. No race is an issue. They just don't vote.
They don't vote. And so I can't minimize that people don't feel like the system is working for them. They don't, as Jermaine was pointing out, that there's certain things that impact your life. You don't realize that it could have been that vote that would be the difference between whether or not you have access to health care and whether or not you don't, right? I mean, that is on such a macro political science level. And so then what both parties do is then they try to get to your emotions, right? What are those issues that drive you? Well, an issue today for you might be a different issue tomorrow, as opposed to people who are more politically aware. It says, no matter what, I show up to vote. No matter what the election is, I show up to vote. I take great pride that I've only missed one election, one, since I was registered to vote. So, but for me, it's different. How do you get out and how do you do the messaging? And I was thinking about these takeovers. If you had someone who would say to a group of kids, hey, you know what, 18, 21-year-olds, we're gonna do a takeover. Get people to show up and then say, but we're gonna register you to vote. I wonder how that would go over.
I don't know today, but you remember that was also part of the impetus for the Black student unions and all. Remember when all the colleges and Black student unions had their annual meetings and they came up with strategies, because we watched them take over whole universities back in that day. And so that wasn't, but it was for a cause. It wasn't to get the cash registers or cause some evil related stuff. That it was particularly political. And so you watch that. And if you were part of a Black student union on a campus, that all kind of things came up in terms of advocacy. You were given all those options and you could decide to participate or not participate.
Well, I can tell you in full transparency, because it's been close to 50 years later. And look, a lot of what drove my politics also was that there was a certain class of women who thought that, political dudes were attractive.
Yeah. Now, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that certain class. Now, there was another group that wasn't, but there was a certain class of women who thought, oh, man, the brother's conscious. The brother's about the revolution. The brother's about the cause. Yeah, I mean, and it is probably like surface, really. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that...
Because when we went to the marches a lot of times during Grappy's time, we would, my buddies would say, man, it's some cuties.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We left this march tonight. My mother would tell me off. Don't you go to those marches, but shoot. I won out. I mean, I went because I love meeting all them girls.
Not only they're cuties, they're smart too. Oh, come on, man. You can't get much better than that. I mean, come on. But I just, I hope that it doesn't resonate with people. That's something like, look, we've been talking about reparations since the end of enslavement in America. It ain't happened. It's like it's what Tim Kaine said to Bernie Sanders. He said, Bernie, the revolution ain't gonna happen. I mean, he just broke him down. So, I mean, I understand, because I was down for it. We're gonna make revolutionary changes in America. We get out, we protest, we march, we organize, and there's some certain things that you could change. With the Black Panther Party and their organization, and part of what they did was the free breakfast, free lunch programs, right? Well, then what did America do? America then co-ops that program. So now you go to most public schools and there's free breakfast. That's the Black Panther Party. So there was some benefit from that organization. But look, the status quo is the status quo. If people thought that Barack Obama being elected was going to change the status quo, the status quo is too well entrenched. It goes back too far. Part of the issue with Jesus was that Jesus went up against the status quo. The power of the status quo cannot be underestimated.
Yep,
all right.
Agree.
My little sermon.
Oh, that's hey, brother. We with Dave, but it's good to be able to talk about it because slowly we don't have as many peers around that we used to sit around and talk about all these same things because
Right.
life is taking its toll on folks that I used to we jam up on. We'd be sitting around there doing the things we probably shouldn't do, but we would be into some very deep political discussions about the man and the issues in front of us.
I tell you one that's really come full circle. When we puff pass, and people ask the question, "You think they ever legalize marijuana?" And we sitting up, we getting deep in this conversation, blowing it up, and then somebody pointed out, said when they can tax it, they'll pass it.
And pass it.
Guess what? They taxing it, therefore they didn't pass it. Like gambling. Gambling is another.
Yeah.
Gambling used to be underground, or you had to go to Vegas, or you had to go to Atlantic City. And it was
the black folks started the lottery.
Started the lottery, the numbers. Well, the Irish also had the Irish had the Irish lottery, that people play. But yeah, I mean, gambling was. But then you began to see where certain groups would start doing bingo, right? And then bingo, and then the treaty rights of First Nation, and where they were able to then go in and offer legalized gambling on First Nation land. And then you saw, like the whole gambling thing. What is the dude? He was the governor of Mississippi. I don't know if it was during Katrina. Yeah, it was during Katrina. And what happened was Mississippi passed a law, like a lot of states, Illinois I think had it too, that if you had a casino, it could not be attached to land, right?
Right.
That's why you would have those barges that people would go out. I think in Tunica was on water, right? You go out because it could not legally be on land. I think when Katrina came through, I think it was Katrina, they blew all those barges onto the land. And so and I can't think of that dude's name now. So he immediately went to the Mississippi State Legislature. They changed the law. And I think now you can have casinos on land, right? We began to see it. And then the lottery, right? Like in Wisconsin, you used to have to go down to Illinois to play lotto. And then people figured out how much money is going to Illinois. We can do a lottery. And the next thing, and then here's the byproduct of all of that. It's also set off people who are dealing with gambling addictions, right? So there's the benefit. They're collecting a whole lot of money in terms of taxes and revenues for the state. But then at the same time, what is the collateral damage being done? Because they're talking about, like right now, this whole thing where you can bet on anything, literally anything. So during a sporting contest, that up and under, Jermaine is going to score 17 points. No, maybe he won't, because I don't gamble, so I can't get into all of the odds that people put out there. Do you know why you get an injury report?
Because people bet that.
Because of gambling. Exactly. So you get the injury report. I mean, it's all these things that happens in society. And once again, it's still political. So who you elected, has a great deal to do with then what the legislative priorities are and whether or not things are going to benefit or have a detrimental impact on people's lives.
Yes, it is something, and people vote their own interest, and then you always, that's when I started to ask. I'd go and ask the candidate when they say come meet the candidate. I'd go ask, and I'd ask all the questions I want to see where you're leaning towards or what you're going to vote. I didn't just vote on it. And I'd read everything I could about what your positions have been. So you just try to educate yourself, at least those that want to be enlightened. And then I started thinking, after I had a family, of course, I had to start thinking about what's going to happen for my children. And when grandchildren came, I started thinking more about what's going to happen for my grandchildren. And now I'm thinking about for my great-grandchildren.
Because you got to
what's going to happen and how can I impact those things?
And I think that how do you get people to say that you have a stake in it? And you might not be a property owner, but you're renting. and then who enforces the codes, and whether or not those codes are being enforced, that you have livable housing. Because I guess in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as long as the landlord tell you that everything that's wrong with it, they can still rent it to you. I don't know how you would rent people places that are not, inhabitable.
Yeah, my granddaughter lived without heat for part of the winter. The landlord didn't fix it, and they just bundled up in this house. And I said, I don't know how y'all can do this. I'm sorry, I don't have enough money to take care of you, your boyfriend, and your baby, but I'll pray for you, because I just don't, because you pick this house, and this man letting y'all stay there, and he ain't won't come fix the heat. So it was just crazy.
All right, man. Appreciate
it all. Okay, you are.
All right.
Okay, have a blessed day.
Mm-hmm. You're listening to Community Voice. The phone line's open, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Approached a Milwaukee polling place to register to vote, fully expecting the rejection that followed. When election inspectors turned him away, Gillespie didn't quietly accept defeat. He launched a historic, courageous legal battle, taking his fight all the way to the Wisconsin Supreme Court in the landmark case Gillespie versus Palmer, who won a stunning victory. The court ruled that an ignored 1849 referendum had actually legalized voting for African American men in Wisconsin. By refusing to surrender his voice, Ezekiel Gillespie single-handedly secured voting rights for thousands. His courageous stand reminds us that the enduring promise of American democracy depends on relentless, everyday citizens demanding true quality.
Turn your tax refund into new countertops at Menards. Make this the year you check that project off the list. Countertops are the center of the home, and we offer stylish options with durability that will last for years. We can transform your everyday spaces into gathering places with custom craft countertops. Check out our kitchen showrooms in-store or visit Menards.com and get a free design estimate. Plus, view our weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The new Marshall P. Cox Health and Human Services Center, located at 1230 West Cherry Street, is more than a building. It's a lifeline connecting people to critical services and resources. No wrong door navigators will help you. And more. The new Cog Center is also home to Nourish MKE Food Pantry. Visit us today at the new Cog Center, home to Milwaukee County's Department of Health and Human Services.
860 AM, 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice.
Listen, everybody. Listen up good now. Listen, everybody. Listen up good now.
All right, welcome back. And we have on the line with us Miss Michelle Bryant. Hey, Michelle, what's happening?
Well, man, it seems like I was just with you. What's happening, Mr. Parris? So I am over at 7540 West Oklahoma Avenue, over here in West Dallas. We have been running the commercials. You've been hearing the spots. The new Artswell Medical Clinic is over here. And just know that folks are already starting to come. Let me tell y'all, when I walked up, guess who was walking up with me?
Ooh.
Angela. Angela had already arrived. She was our, literally, I think she's their first customer. She literally just walked up, signed up, and so that folks know this is going to be activity that's going to be going on from 10 a.m. this morning until 1 p.m. This is primary care for adults age 60 and up. And the day is filled with activities and food and prize giveaways. There, you can enter to win a TV, a whole lot more. So I will be coming on periodically to tell you guys what's going on out here. But we are set up. As soon as you pull up on the parking lot, you can see our NOV tent. Debo is here. Y'all should have told me I wouldn't have came. So Debo is here. They actually have a live band. The band is called Blue City Soul. The comedian Marlon Hill is actually going to be performing out here. There are resource tables. So this is an incredible setup. I wasn't expecting all of this, but it is pretty cool out here.
All right, so give people the address so they can find
So,
it.
okay, so we are at 7540 West Oklahoma Avenue. Again, this is over in West Allis. They have 4 locations that will be opening up over the course of, the next, I'll just say period of time because I'm not sure exactly how quick all 4 locations will be online. But we are next to CVS if you're pulling up over here, but you can't miss us. Orange and blue balloons everywhere. And like I said, we are out here, and I'll be checking back in just to tell you what's going on, keeping you abreast. But it's actually cool to have a primary care facility that just deals with people 60 and up. Now, I'm still too young. I can't come here yet.
By a couple of months. By 4 months. We'll be eligible in about 4 months. So
you know what? Don't be talking my business. Don't tell my business. Keep my business out the street. Jermaine probably ready to come over here though. But yeah, so I will check back in. But when I tell you I'm proud of us that Angela shows up first, yeah, we doing it.
all right.
Wait a minute. So why my name got to come up when Angela showed up first?
That ain't how your name came up. But see, you just would incriminated yourself. That is not how your name came up.
That is not why your name came up. So, just let them tell on themselves. My mama
Right. Just let me talking.
They'll tell on themselves. And she walked right up. Hello, love. Hello, love. I'm not your man. So I will check back in. When I check back in, I'm gonna have Angela with me, Jermaine.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye.
Boy, you just had your Judas moment. Thou hast said. Thou hast said. All right. Again, phone lines open, y'all. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. This came up on Facebook this morning. I didn't actually go into here. There is a conference going on, or it had gone on, and the question, and this was Bishop Annette Flunder. Everybody probably, if you don't know who she is, if you know anything about Walter Hawkins and that song "Thank You, Lord," that is Bishop Flunder, really out in terms of affirming ministries, and there was a question that they asked, which I thought was really kind of a fascinating question. And what they were dealing with, the question is the Bible the Word of God or words about God? Is the Bible the Word of God, or is it words about God? And so went in and it kind of got because depending on where you are in terms of either your faith tradition, in terms of how it views the Bible and the authenticity of the Bible. There are really 2 schools of thought, and then there's actually 3. There's a movement that started in the late 1800s in America, early 1900s, where Scripture. There was a group, primarily Protestants, who believed that the Bible was the unerred Word of God, and therefore it is the Word of God. There had always been this other thought running through folks where they said, no, based on how the canon was put together and all these other things, that it really was words about God, right? And then there's this middle position that says that some traditions say the Bible is both divine and human. God's word expressed through human words, much like how Christians understand Jesus is both fully divine and fully human. Scriptures can be seen as a divine message carried through human experience, language, and limitation. And so I just thought it was fascinating discussion. I know that there's some people who they're from the school that their school of thinking is that, you know what, it is the word of God, period. Word of God, period. And then there are other people who take a more nuanced view of that. I think anytime that one goes in, and I think in context of this, in terms of Bishop Flunder and her being part of the discussion, was then it comes down to the role of what does the Bible have to say about the role of women, and specifically the role of women in Christianity. There are some faith traditions that say that women have no role in terms of worship, in terms of clergy. There are others who have a more expansive view where they're going that, well, maybe we're just not locked in. And then because the Bible being a human enterprise is based on context and time, who the intended audience was. So I thought it was interesting that her whole take obviously was the role of women. What does the Bible have to say around LGBTQ issues? And then how should people be accepting of that? Now, again, most people are not seminary, divinity school trained. Most people are not even Bible college trained. And I say that in terms of, depending on where you are, if you're at a Bible college, the Bible is the most important book there at a Bible college. If you're at a divinity school or a seminary, and depending on whether or not it's progressive or conservative seminary, the Bible is a book of many books that one is going to study in order to get this understanding of who God is. Because that's part of why we do any kind of religious scriptures or writings, is one to have a better understanding, to feel who God is, and then God's interaction with humans. And then there's the ethos, right? The ethics, the morals. There's certain ethical behavior one should have if one is a practitioner of a particular religion. So let me when we get the caller. 414-444-5250. Caller, I see you. You can call back. 414-444-5250. But I thought it was, those are discussions that the people are having around, but it really is. And because religion is based on belief and faith, it is, what do you believe, right? Do you believe that the Bible is without error, right? There are some people who believe that. Scholarship might point to something else, but if that's your belief system, and look, I've learned, if nothing else I've learned from working with folks, is that once folks is on a certain belief square, they ain't moving. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Keith.
Hey, Rick.
Good morning from Germany at about 5:15 in the evening. And my belly is full with what you've laid on the table for discussion. First, I would like to respond to your comments about the vote and the lack of voting there in America, not just black people, but Americans in general. Most people believe the system is rigged. Donald Trump said it, and he won. The electors put him in. He won. But the system is not going to change unless there's bloodshed and civil war. As far as the Bible goes, the Bible is the words of men. and a few women who were crafted, specialized writers. It's a good read, it's creative writing, but you got to find God in your own experience and your own mind. I'm done, brother man.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There are issues around women and full equality. There are issues around slavery. Um, there are issues even about others, marginalized people. Um, and so and I know, like, it's real popular for a lot of folks to say that there are no errors. There are, and that's only because the Bible is a human enterprise. And then we even have to go back to how it was put together. And there were certain books that made the canon, others did not. And so then that also becomes an issue. Let me see to get preferential treat golf courses. What are you talking about golf courses? Okay. So anyway, I just thought it was. I'm going to go in and get her full remarks on that. I do know where she was in terms of, like I said, those issues, and one of the more immediate issues is this idea of women in clergy and whether or not women should be as fully vested in clergy as men. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Hello.
Hello. This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward to Dr. Keith Parris, Reverend Doctor. I'm sorry. I want to say one thing. Just about anything that happens in life is too many people say you need to read the Bible. Hardly anybody understands the Bible, and when they do, they understand it in their own way. The Bible says that we should be slaves because Noah cursed his son, and Noah is not God. That's just a small example, and y'all have a good one.
I appreciate that. Right. Yeah, it does, and I think that if for me, again, I take a more expansive view. I'm always, because you cannot verify the source by just using the source. You have to do something outside of the source to verify the veracity or the validity of that thing that you're examining. And so I don't have a problem with learning about different faith traditions, right? I don't have, because I operate from a framework that I don't know. We limit God, but I don't know if God isn't limited. I do. So we limit God, and we limit God to something that Brother Ward just said in terms of it's the God that we understand, right? And so we try to make God more understandable. And my pastor, late Reverend Willie D. Wanzo, would say that, we try to put God in this box because we're comfortable putting God in this box. And so can I say this? Everybody's box is different, in terms of how you view God. I think where it becomes a problem, for me anyway, is then when we inflict our God on other people. I think that becomes a real problem for me. They just wrapped up this bogus commission on religious freedom. No Muslims, no Buddhists. If it was maybe one Jew, I don't know if there were any Catholics there. It was primarily white evangelicals, and they were talking about they wanted religious freedom. And one of the things about America, one is, in spite of what Nietzsche says, America was not founded as a Judeo-Christian country. It was not. Part of the genius behind how America was formed was because there were people who were running from religious tyranny in Europe, that they wanted a government that would be free or a non-respecter of any religion. Now, again, that's before we had this America 250 years later, where now you have a more diverse population. We're certainly more diverse when it comes to religion. That we find we have Catholicism here. We have so even in Christianity there are divides. We have Muslims, we have Buddhists, we have Sikhs. That America is becoming more diverse religiously, but at the same time, it seems to me that there's a group out there who see themselves as the dominant religion, right? And I'm talking primarily white evangelical Christians who believe, one, that they're right, and that America should really follow their ethos. Again, when we were talking about Donald Trump and people getting mad because he depicted himself as white Jesus, and I'm saying, but the outrage is not the policies that are unlike Jesus that he's doing. And as long as we sit up here and deal with his antics, we might miss his action, right? Just gave you an example of the fact that part of the problem that those folks are having down in Roseland, Louisiana, is that they've gone in and basically crippled EPA, the Environmental Protection Administration or agency. They've gone in, for example, your energy costs, where everything, whether it's electric vehicles, solar, wind, alternatives to petroleum, all those things are being killed by the Trump administration. So we become more and more dependent on petroleum products, right? So then when we have this thing going on in the Middle East right now, it's having impact on Americans. And here's the piece. These are American oil companies who are making money hand over fist because the price of oil has gone up. What was it, Michael Jackson? They don't care about us. Real talk. So when people, good that I think TD Jakes said this. He said, you're not voting for a pastor in chief, right? Because these policy implications are real. They have real consequences on the daily lives of people. And so when people can kind of go in and go like, I was listening to this guy that was interviewing on CNN yesterday. He's from Texas. And he said, I understand that for a whole lot of folks, it's going to be this short-term pain and people living from paycheck to paycheck. I'm sympathetic to that, but I'm part of the oil industry. I'm making money, right? That we don't have American oil companies saying because this whole situation there in the Middle East is having dramatic price increases of gas. We care about Americans so much that we're not going to increase the price of gas. No, they raised the price of gas because they're making money.
And they know, man, that people are going to make the payments because they need gas.
I got to get to work.
Therefore, it's going to show that, okay, well, we can slowly but surely creep up to these numbers and it's going to be all right because the people, even though it might hurt, we are making money, but people still can afford it.
What did the Iranians say? You're going to be nostalgic for $4.
Yeah.
You're going to miss that.
Yeah.
Because as long as this thing continues the way that it's continuing, someone says that, what is it that they said that oil prices go up like an elevator but come down like a feather. Yeah. Call ICU 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Jackson. New data is offering a sober look at how difficult shows that 22.1% of new private sector businesses close within the first year. That works out to roughly 600 closures a day. The numbers continue to climb over time. After 5 years, nearly half of those businesses, more than 48%, have shut down. And after 10 years, that number rises to more than 65%. The data also highlights differences by location. The District of Columbia had the highest first-year closure rate, with more than 32% of businesses shutting down. Tennessee followed. Louisiana had some of the lowest first-year failure rates. The findings underscore the challenges that many entrepreneurs face, especially in the early stages of starting a business and building it. For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
From TMJ4 meteorologist Brendan Johnson with your Storm Team forecast. Morning showers, then partly cloudy for our Wednesday before more rain and storms roll in late this afternoon and into the evening hours. Temperatures topping out in the mid and upper 60s. We hold on to that chance of storms overnight. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, might even trigger some flooding. Lows fall back into the upper 40s. Chance for a few morning showers and storms Thursday, becoming partly cloudy, high of 61. Partly cloudy for most of Friday with highs in the mid 60s lakeside, 70s inland. Another round of rain and storms likely overnight into early Saturday, becoming partly cloudy at the start of the weekend, high near 60, mostly sunny by Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. You can always catch the latest forecast at tmj4.com. My meteorologist, Brendan Johnson.
Make your home and family safer by properly getting rid of nasty chemicals and fire hazards. MMSD. Home Hazmat Program offers 3 drop-off centers that are open all year long. It's fast and easy. You don't even have to get out of your car, and it's free to visit a drop-off. Lithium-ion battery. Of America's 250th birthday is sponsored by Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District, the place for your hazmat program.
Ezekiel Gillespie. In 1865, a formerly enslaved man named Ezekiel Gillespie approached a Milwaukee. Ezekiel Gillespie single-handedly secured voting rights for thousands. His career.
Check 1 2 2 2 2 2 2.
Mic check 1 2. How you doing? How you doing?
Okay. Yeah, the band is cooking. How's that? 2 2 2 2. 1 2 1 2. Still too hot? What do you say? I don't know who that band. I think it's Cigarette Break. Hey, Doug, who is that band? Who is that band? Who is the band? Bruce City Soul. You know how these cats be doing, man. They throw some cats together and come up with a band. But we good on that end now? Okay, so they're good on their end. They can hear us, but I don't know how you gonna do it with that. Guess you got to do it on the phone. Jermaine, probably gonna call. Hey, Byron. No, keep the stream there, but leave the volume down on it. I mean, as far as I can turn my master on the phone right now. All right, keep be muted on the board. Well, that's up to you, but okay. All right. Yep.
Back to Community Voice Caller. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I am checking back in, and this is Michelle Bryant. This is Michelle Bryant. I am over at Archwell Health, their new center, off of 7540 West Oklahoma Avenue, over here in West Dallas. This is the primary care for adults age 60 and up that we have been talking about on some of the commercials running on the station. And Keith, I want to tell you, I just had an opportunity to take a tour of the facility. It's very nice. Angela was on the tour, and we were walking through. And, I mean, they have gift bags set up, fruit smoothies, snacks for folks. There are different organizations out here, Alzheimer's, United Healthcare, all of the different insurance companies that they accept. Their representatives are here as well. And it has been really interesting. One of the things I'm tripping off of is how much stuff has changed from when we first started going to the doctor. So you remember how you would go into a room and you have to hop up on that table, or you have to get a stool and step up on the table when they need to see you? They now, they adjust to you. So no matter how tall you are, you just lean in and the table will lift up. I'm like, oh yeah, all this is new. You can tell it's catered to folks that are 60 and older. The staff has been really, really cool out here. And I would just tell folks that they are just getting started. They are going until 1 p.m. The band, I had to walk away because they was jamming. Blue City Soul. I need to hire them for something. But for folks that are thinking about coming through, we are here until 1 p.m. today. Great food, lots of giveaways, healthcare swag. You can enter to win a TV, more great prizes. And as I said in the commercial, what's all the fuss about? Archwell Health is a primary care provider. Again, adults age 60 and older. They have 4 locations in Milwaukee. While this is a grand opening, the locations are all open now. So over on King Drive, they have another one over off of 67th and Hampton. Another one going in, I think, off of 10th and Layton. They're already open. But in terms of a grand opening, this is what's happening here today. I just met Dr. Thompson, who is the primary care physician here. He was really cool. I had a good conversation with him. And just understand, they are saying that we are people who listen, try to make it convenient. You can get everything done here in terms of your lab work, x-rays, blood work, EKGs. They're like, look, we're not trying to send you out unless you have to absolutely see a specialist. So other things that I'll just quickly say is that if you want to come through and take a tour, they are more than willing to do that. Bring the grandkids with you if you got them. Come on your own. Clark from our team has already signed up. They take 4 types of insurance, but they'll work with you as well to see what you need to be, because they're interested in becoming your primary caregiver. So I just want to tell people, if you have not found a primary caregiver, you're looking for a medical home, this may be the place that you need to show up at.
Wow. You're getting good at this.
I know. You know what? Just a little bit. And I'm trying to do this without notes too. So I just want to say that as well. Wow. Yeah, man. Yeah. But I am surprised. Sometimes when you think live remote, like how many people are going to show up, people are coming through.
Oh, good.
Maybe it's surprises. Maybe it's, you can win the big TVs and all of that.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
There are quite a few NOV listeners that are showing up out here. So way to go, family, helping us represent. When these people hire us to come in and help promote their businesses, you help us when you show up and come out, and they are coming through.
So, Shell.
So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
So, Shell, do they have anything for the people that are lonely?
That are lonely?
Yeah.
Are you 60 and over and lonely?
What do the lonely do?
Because if you're 60
When you're
and
60.
over and lonely, they got something for you. In fact, you know what? I'm glad you said that, Jermaine. You just reminded me. So they have on their website where you can go online and check and see what's going on that day at the center.
Nice.
So they may be offering Tai Chi classes, knitting classes, some type of exercise class. They have a room where, like you just out and you're like, oh, I want to go see about Tai Chi. Nice. You can come and learn about it and do a class. So I'm glad you said that. That was perfect.
Yeah. I know Tai Chi. Me and Tai Chi go way back.
Really? Did she leave you too?
Now is that Puddin's cousin?
Yeah, that's Puddin's cousin from Uncle Leroy. That's Puddin's cousin.
Who left him too? I want to be clear.
Yeah, I know
who left him.
All right, dear.
Thank you, Keith. I'm so sorry that you have to be subjected to this.
I know.
Oh wait, you added to it by talking about pudding. I take back my.
I've been stuck on pudding. Yeah. If I get a cat, I think I'm gonna call it pudding.
Let's not.
Appreciate
look, so everybody, Archwell Health Centers, we are over at 7540 West Oklahoma Avenue. Grand opening today. Somebody from WNOV need to come through so we can win these prizes. That's all I'm saying.
I'm on my way.
I know they're gonna have a little program at 11, but out here until 1. Y'all, come learn about the facility, win the prize, call me. Guess who got to take Angela home?
Jermaine said he was on his way.
Hey, hold on.
Nuh-uh. She already said, Michelle, I'm going to need a ride home. I'm like, oh, come on, man. So, guess who got to take Angela home? Thank you, Jermaine.
Hey,
Thank you, Jermaine.
Yeah, so if you need a ride home.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Call Tai Chi in him.
All right, y'all. I'll
y'all.
talk to y'all soon.
All right.
Peace.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning again. I forgot a couple of points I wanted to make. This oil situation is only because it's cheaper for the oil barons in the United States to get their oil from overseas. And that cuts out a lot of jobs for Americans. It makes a lot of money for the oligarchs. Other point I wanted to make was this whole political thing throughout the world is not about race. It's about money and the Pope. Because when they try to pinpoint Arabs and blacks and Mexicans, everybody suffers from the stupid stuff that's going on. And y'all have a good one.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and I know J.D. Vance has a law degree from Yale, but I don't know if he did any classes at Yale Divinity School, which is one of the better divinity schools in the country. I don't know if he did that. So to lecture the Pope on the Pope's theology, where if anybody understands the training of a Catholic priest, well-versed in theology, I'll say it for the third time, well-versed in theology. I would listen to the Pope just because I like this particular Pope. But if it came down to me trying to get some type of theological insight from Donald Trump or the Pope, guess who I'm going to listen to? The Pope.
Of course.
In spite of Donald Trump portraying himself as white Jesus. Caller, welcome to the program. And I don't know if y'all picked up on this or not. I'm frustrated with white Jesus. Has anybody picked up on that?
Yeah, man. To tell you the truth, I've been frustrated with white Jesus. Now,
I'm sorry, y'all.
Now, I don't know if it started with the 4 ounce, 3 pounds Jesus, or the 168 pound Jesus, or the 200 pound Jesus. I don't know, but this white Jesus just does something to me, man.
And we say that, and I don't know if you all remember when Pastor Walter Lanier was on, and we were talking about iconography. I can never pronounce it, but how icons matter, right?
Of
How
course.
icons matter.
Yeah.
And he talked about, and this was something done in the early 70s. He went back to the Black Psychiatric Association and talked about just how devastating, because I'm lack of a word, was that white image of Jesus when it came to black people. And they talked about the psychic toll that it takes. And so when people, I just got a problem with white Jesus. Because first of all, Jesus wasn't white.
That part.
So, and then I understand it all gets into white supremacy. And again, remember I said yesterday, it depends on if you're a Trinitarian or not. If you're a Trinitarian, you believe that Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is one, that Jesus is God. And when we see a picture of Jesus and he's white, then what color would God be? White. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Keith.
George.
I am happy about this radio station, and just goes to show you how important this radio station is to getting out the word in our community. I don't know if you know this, and I hope I'm not embarrassing Rideout when I say this, but Rideout did an excellent testimony, I want to say about a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
On Friday. Yeah. And so I called in. And so the young lady that does that show on your program, she invited me to an event. Yeah. Went and met a wonderful lady there. Because you know how you have your table set up there? Yeah. And me and Brenda were going around, and we got to talking to the lady, and she worked for Archwell. I was telling her I wasn't happy with my primary doctor. Not my doctors that are treating me for my prostate cancer, but my primary doctors. She said you can keep those doctors, but come and see us. So we actually had an appointment on Monday because they have a building on Martin Luther King Drive also. I think they got like 4 places. We were supposed to go to the event today, but Brenda wasn't feeling too well today, so we stayed home. But yeah, I'm excited about this. And you know why? Because of WNOV. So I just want to say how important you guys are. Wow. All right, that's all I had to say.
All right, appreciate you.
Bye.
Man, that's important, man. When you have people that's in the community that's listening, that's paying attention, but also, take the information that's provided to them and act on the information. Man, it's a wonderful thing, man, that the station is able to provide platforms for, people like Ebony and, people like,
Deborah.
Be Healthy, Be You, and, Deborah, and, things like that can actually get information out to the people, and it's needed information. It's very important information.
I just like the celebrity has given me.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I've learned from the nurse.
Is that Mr.
Parris? from Be Healthy, Be You, the one thing I've noticed is I found out, because I always thought,
well, you
can catch head colds, through your head sleeping under the window. And it was like, nah,
that ain't how you catch it. No. Now you can have your sinuses backed up
by sleeping under the air.
Under the air, and all of that moisture gets in. But no, colds are viruses that are spread like viruses, usually the touch. Yeah. Let's say I shake your hand, you have a cold. We do ear, eye, nose, and that's all it takes. And once it gets into the membranes, then it develops. It's a virus.
Because I used to hear, some of the down south folks say, man, I caught cold in my shoulder, or I caught cold in my back. I'm like, how do you catch cold in your back?
But you have had, though, when you had a cold, that it might get to a part of it feels like I don't know if the virus is moving or.
Yeah, like if it's, but that's what they say. Like, man, I caught cold in my shoulder, I caught cold in my back. I'm like, okay, hold on. Is that possible? But from the young ladies from Be Healthy, Be You, they told me no. So.
Oh, we've learned. I think, just I don't know if I get into medical school, but things that you're a little bit more conversant about when the hospitalist was talking to us about my mom. I was sitting there paying attention because I'm going like some of the stuff I kind of understand, only because of the exposure, to it. And I think so. George is right in terms of just the information we get out there. Now, we need to be fully transparent. Some bad stuff get out there too. Some bad stuff get out there. People run around here. I got a call one time. What y'all was saying about retarded slaves? Sometimes, and especially when people come in halfway through.
Oh yeah.
They haven't heard everything that led up to that point.
Yeah.
And then they kind of jump in and you kind of go like, no, dude, that wasn't what we was talking about.
Well, I think Coach actually pulled up on me, man. And I am forever scared of Coach because he, I said something about MPS, and about 20 minutes later, Coach pulled up and walked in on me, and so I had to bow down.
You never know who's listening, right? When I was at WGLB, and people know, full transparency, big word today, Wednesday's word. I am not a fan of choice. Right. I got this thing, anything that I see defunding public education, I just have a real problem with it because the majority of American children are going to be in public education. And so I was going on and I was doing my whole math analogy about if you can't do this and expect this, if you only pay in this. And so my mom, we didn't screen, we took phone calls. Right. So I hear this voice that sounds very familiar. And then I hear, this is Bishop Daniels.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
sorry, sir.
Oh, you're listening, huh?
I've
had other people come up and say to me, yeah, man, I heard you talking about da 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 da. And I go like, and listen, again, for the fourth time, I'm using the word for full transparency. Part of what I hope I'm doing is provoking people to think. And so when people come in and we have these discussions, that's good. That means we're thinking about a thing, right? And there's nothing wrong with thinking about a thing. No matter what the thing is.
No matter what the thing
it's your thing. Do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right for a black man living in America. How you?
My man, one day at a time. I can't do two.
Hey, look, well, yeah, but I tried.
I got a question for you, bro. You think that Donald Trump will have three? You think he'll be president again? Because man, I'm done with him. It's too much, man. You think he might get reelected? What's going on with that? That's what they're talking about. Peace, brothers.
Yeah,
depressing day just got more depressing. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
What's going on, brother?
What's that, brother? You sound like the brother just called.
Well, I took your speaker. I took off the blah, 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 blah.
Oh, so that was you that just called.
No, it wasn't. This is my first time calling.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going like, because you can do that, right?
No, yeah, obviously, because I heard people call in 3 times.
Back to back, too.
Or what, like yesterday?
Talking about sorry. No, you're sorry.
Yesterday, I asked the question, was Donald Trump an awful person? And the staff was going out to their cars calling in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening? What's on your mind, man?
You watched some of the tournament last night?
Yeah, up until Bam getting hurt. That was right
before.
I missed the great game.
You mean that was intentional though, fam?
Man,
he grabbed his dude's whole ankle. His leg was already in the air, and then you grab the other one.
Right.
Come on, man. You dirty. That's just dirty.
I don't like the ball.
And they won.
Yeah, I don't like the ball family. I just don't.
And of course the Subs trick it like usual.
Do you think that's a cursed franchise?
Man, it gotta be, dude. Because them dudes was up like 10 or 12 points, and Portland come back and warm them up. What's the?
I think it started going back to the expansion. And that what was that?
Jordan?
No. The 68 draft where they lost the coin clip. What's wrong with me today? The coin flip, and Milwaukee got the pick for Kareem, and they got Neil Walk, and I think it's been downhill for them ever since.
Man, listen, ever since Jordan roasted them, they ain't been good either.
Oh, even before that, remember, because they lost to Boston. You know, the Gar-Hurd game where Gar-Hurd hit the shot, they go back, they lose game 7 to Boston.
And you got to watch Portland on Netflix.
Oh, I did.
The Blazers.
No.
How was it?
The what do they call them? The jail Blazers. It was actually very good.
All I seen was the beginning. I didn't watch it.
It was actually very good. It's very good. And you know who else was on that team, man? And I feel bad for this brother, Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal was on that team before he got moved to Indiana. And then, of course, what happens in Indiana, he's in the Malice in the Palace, right? That brother just couldn't catch a break.
I'm telling you, ever since they started these shows on Netflix, man, the Malice in the Palace, the Last Dance.
Yeah. The Last Dance was ESPN.
Them things be good.
Yeah, but those Untolds are great, man. And I forgot about that team, man. And Bonzi Wells. Remember about Bonzi Wells?
Bonzi Wells.
Like, wow. And you know what was crazy? When you get to the end of that, spoiler alert. None of those okay. Don't you hate when people do that? Tell you how the movie ended? Like, dude, why don't you bother to go? You know,
hey, what are you talking about? Go check out that movie. But let me tell you about it anyway.
Right. And give you the whole movie. I'm not gonna do that. You know, I'm still salty with Michelle because, you know, after she went on and on about Sinner, I was like, I don't even need to go and see the movie. You know, because she did such a great job of breaking it down. I'm like, dude, why even go now?
I sent Jermaine on his messenger. Donald Trump, he back at it with the Jesus post.
Is he? Why? He need to stop messing with the Pope. The Pope is God's guy.
He's back at it, dude. Jermaine, show him the picture, man. Show him the picture of your guy, man.
He be messing with God's guy. What's up with that? See, I have. Look, and I know
the white Jesus.
I know the people have a problem with the papacy. I appreciate that, but you know, again, I've been a beneficiary of Catholic education. So, no, did he got another picture of him as white Jesus?
Yeah. So check that out, then, because he tripping, man. This guy.
Oh my God. Oh man, and they got chestnut hair, white Jesus.
They do.
Look at that beard. Look how groomed that beard is.
Hey, man. First of all, he got the Fabio going on.
Yeah, he do. Right.
Hey man, this Jesus.
Only difference was Fabio is blonde, right?
Yeah, he's blonde.
Yeah, Fabio's blonde, but
this dude got this.
He has the locks.
Yeah, who did his hair? Who did his hair?
Supercuts.
Nah, that ain't supercuts, man. No, that's a $300 haircut right there. I haven't got a haircut.
Hey, he had the curls in it. He had the curls in it.
Yeah, man. I mean, just looking how it just laid down and just perfect for the little white tunic he's wearing. Like,
man, that was white Jesus for real, ain't it?
Yeah, man, white Jesus, boy. What a day. All right, man. Appreciate you. Let me thank again Michelle Bryant, the good folks there at Harwell, right? Yep, and she'll be calling in from time to time, just giving you updates.
So I guess from you, you're supposed to turn over to Michelle.
Oh, okay. Are they there? Can they hear me? Hello? Right? Okay. Well, let me end my program. I'll get out the way. Hey, y'all, the good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody. I'm going to go give blood. Like a vampire, right? Get ready to go give blood, so. If I'm not here tomorrow, you know what happened. They took too much. All right, good Lord, Willow Creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. New data is offering a sober look at how difficult it can be to start and sustain a business. An analysis from LendingTree shows that 22.1% of new private sector businesses close within the first year. That works out to roughly 600 closures a day. The numbers continue to climb over time. After 5 years, nearly half of those businesses, more than 48%, have shut down. And after 10 years, that number rises to more than 65%. The data also highlights differences by location. The District of Columbia had the highest first-year closure rate, with more than 32% of businesses shutting down. Tennessee followed by 29%. Meanwhile, Washington, South Carolina, Louisiana had some of the lowest first-year failure rates. The findings underscore the challenges that many entrepreneurs face, especially in the early stages of starting a business and building it. For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
From TMJ4, meteorologist Brendan Johnson with your Storm Team forecast. Morning showers, then partly cloudy for our Wednesday before more rain and storms roll in late this afternoon and into the evening hours. Temperatures topping out in the mid and upper 60s. We hold on to that chance of storms overnight. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, might even trigger some flooding. Lows fall back into the upper 40s. Chance for a few morning showers and storms Thursday, becoming partly cloudy, high of 61. Partly cloudy for most of Friday with highs in the mid 60s, lakeside, 70s inland. Another round of rain and storms likely overnight into early Saturday, becoming partly cloudy at the start of the weekend, high near 60, mostly sunny by Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. You can always catch the latest forecast at tmj4.com. My meteorologist, Brendan Johnson.
Hi, this is Felicia Williams, chairwoman of the Juneteenth Pageant Committee. For 35 years, Northcott Neighborhood House has proudly lifted up the brilliance, talent, and leadership of our young people through the Juneteenth pageant. And 2026 is your year to shine. This isn't